Hey there, it's Cynthia from Integrated Plantscapes. I am coming to you with the first in hopefully a series of videos about all things plants. We're going to cover all kinds of different topics. We are hopefully going to go out into the field and follow some of our techs from time to time, see what they're up to. Just a range of things. And we're going to start off. I'm coming to you today from my home because, like a lot of people, we are spending more time at home. I'm working from home a lot, and so that made sense to just start this off from home. And also just kind of to touch on the fact that people are maybe improving their home environment. We're moving back inside after summer. It's fall, we're heading to winter, so it's a great time to think about putting some plants into your environment. Maybe you want to spruce up your home office. Maybe you're a first time plant person or you haven't really had a lot of experience. Hopefully we're going to be able to inform and spread some knowledge and just have a little fun with plants. I actually look like I have a little crown right now. That's kind of funny. That is a Dracaena marginata back there. So that's kind of goofy, but oh well, I'm going to go with it. So first of all, there are plenty of places to buy plants. You find plants in so many places these days. Big box stores carry them. I don't know that that would be my first choice, but I certainly have bought plants there. Plenty of wonderful garden centers out there, places that specialize in indoor and outdoor. So wherever you like to shop for your plants, or if you're just getting into it and you're new, a good thing to do is just overall assess the plant, right? This one has beautiful green and glossy leaves. It's got new growth. I bought this not that long ago. So cute little baby leaves coming. If you can see that or not right there. It's got a lot of that going on. That's a good sign. That's a sign of health, obviously. You want to feel the soil. You don't want something that's overly compacted. You don't want something that feels like it's been drenched for weeks and weeks on end or months on end. If you can get a look at the roots, that's always a good thing. I see there's a little root pushing through there. It is tender and healthy looking. It doesn't look like it's rotting or anything. Oftentimes you can pull your plant right out. I can't do it with this one because the soil is sort of loose. I added more soil recently. So, but if you can kind of slide that out, you can look all around the bottom and sort of see the roots. Just make sure that they're not dried out. Make sure that they don't look like they're rotting or otherwise unhealthy. You don't, even at the, I shouldn't say that. You never know the care that's gone into the plant. So you're kind of making an assessment by how it looks, and that's fairly easy to tell. So just get a good look at it. Look for pests if you can too. You don't want anything with, if you see any little white dots underneath, that could be mites. There's all kinds of different things that you don't want to see any webbing, of course, of anything. That's getting a little extreme. That probably wouldn't happen in a store, but just in case, a good thing to keep in mind. I would leave it in that little grow pot. When you get it home, I would not be in a big hurry to up pot anything. That's been growing just fine in those little grow pots, and I would definitely just leave it there. 6 months to a year down the road, maybe you can reassess if you're getting some phenomenal growth, you're an amazing green thumb. Maybe you need to look at up potting at that point, but I wouldn't worry about it right away. This is a good example of that. Like, this is not really overcrowded yet. I've had this, I don't know, since the spring. It's a blue star fern. I'm really not a huge fan of ferns typically. I tend to, I don't know, I think I haven't had the right environment for them often enough, so they tend to get brown on me. That is pretty common. Ferns love humidity. So what I did this time around is I put this, and this likes low light, so blue star fern, just to remind you, I really love this. I love the look of it. I love how big it's gotten. It's probably 3 times as big as when I bought it. But that is in near a north facing window in my bathroom. So bathrooms and kitchens are great spots for high humidity lovers. Just kind of a natural environment for them that they're going to like. So very cool plant and a good spot for a bathroom plant, or you could put it near your kitchen sink. Something like that will have a lot of humidity. This is another plant that I just happened to find this at, it was a very unexpected place to find it. Um, it was a big box store. I don't typically buy my plants there, but I happened by it, and I actually didn't know what it was. If you can see the pattern there, it is called, it's a calathea, it's a mosaica, which means mosaic. So you can see it does kind of look like it is a mosaic tile pattern in person. It's really cool. It does not really do it justice on this camera, but this is another high humidity lover, and good, that's got new growth there too. I have this grouped with other plants. We'll see how it does over the winter with less humidity, but I have it grouped with a number of other plants. I might even go so far as to set up a small humidifier if it starts to give me an attitude by browning up at the leaf tips or edges. Another thing you could do is you could put down a tray with pebbles on it, put water on and into that, and then put your container right on top of it. So you're not drawing up water, you're just putting it on the water, you know, the pebbles and water, so that as those pebbles, that water, evaporates, you're creating some humidity, and the plant would really like that and would reward you with some nice green, happy, healthy leaves. Something to try. So you've picked out your plant, you've got it home, you found a container for it that you like. Often what I will do, some of these don't have holes in them, some of them do. My containers, your grow pot is always going to have holes in it. But I will, like, this is just something I recycled, to put that in there so it will catch the water. And then also I want to give my plants a good dose of water when I water, and then let that run through. And maybe just while I'm watering the others, it can sit like that, but don't ever leave your plants sitting in water. That's usually not a good thing. It's too much water. It's not going to take up that much water. So yeah, just an extra safeguard so that you don't ruin any of your tabletop surfaces, your dressers, your furniture that you have your plants on. Try to use those little plastic trays underneath. That's a really good way to protect things. On the subject of water, it's one of the ways that people kill their plants the most is to overwater. It's the thing that we get asked the most as plant professionals. When do I know it's time to water my plant? How much do I water my plant? So a little of that is trial and error, but in general, I can say that pretty much every 2 weeks is a good marker to start with. Now, when you first get your plant home, you might want to check it more often just to see how it's acclimating. You may have come from a place where it's in this beautiful greenhouse with a bunch of other plants, and it could have a little bit of a struggle. It could dry out a little quicker just initially till it gets used to the new environment. But as a general rule, every couple of weeks, I would check your plant and go through and, lift it up. Is it heavy? Is it light? That helps you decide. Feel the soil, of course. If you have something big, a big tree, or maybe that Margie, maybe something a little bit larger than that marginata, maybe a 14 or 16 inch, you can invest in a simple soil probe. That's something that you drive down into the soil and then you pull it up and you get the soil result from the bottom or near the bottom of the container. And that will tell you what's going on sort of closer to the bottom. Maybe it's got a lot of moisture down there yet and you wouldn't want to water it yet. So those are just some general things: lifting up the pot, feeling the soil, and then just giving it some time in between to dry down. Most plants would like to dry down an inch or two. It's another thing that you can research when you get your plants home. Sometimes I go out and I'm looking for a specific type of plant. Like, I saw this plant on the internet and I really want it, so I go out and grab it. Or I'm looking for it, so I already know where I'm going to put it. I already know what it's going to need because I've done the research. But sometimes, like this calathea and even this blue star fern, I did not know anything about them. I just looked at them and thought they looked cool. And so then I came home and had to do the research after. What exactly do these like? Where should I put this in my home? So much knowledge out there. There's a wealth of information. Google is your best friend in terms of the specific conditions and types and things to watch out for. Some things are more prone to certain issues than others. So that brings up my little ivy here. This ivy is super cute and I'm keeping her trimmed down. I do not want to have big vines going everywhere. This plant is just in my kitchen next to my sink. And so I've been clipping that back, and then it creates more of a bushy, healthy, thicker interior on the plant. But these are subject to, they often can get spider mites, and that can really harm your plant in a hurry if you don't notice what's happening. So I try to take a spray bottle, half alcohol, half water, and just spray this to run off, and then wipe it with paper towels on both sides. Like, so you can take 2 paper towels, the way you can do it, and just like get all those leaves. And that will help keep, first of all, it just keeps your plants looking clean and healthy and have a nice shine to them. But it will also keep things at bay like spider mites. And you can prevent problems before they even take hold, because spider mites can, a lot of people do group their plants together for a number of reasons. But they can move from plant to plant, and you can be infested in a hurry if you're not careful. So do take care to keep your plants clean. If you don't want to go the route of a spray bottle, you can certainly just microfiber cloth them, but then you want to be more vigilant about checking for pests, because if you're wiping this plant and it has something, a pest, and you go over and wipe your other plant, yeah, you're going to have problems because you're spreading problems. It could be a disease, it could be a pest. You're spreading things around, which you do not want to do that. So I would just use caution if you're doing the microfiber cloth route. Make sure you're very vigilant about looking for pests. Trying to think of what else I wanted to cover. I think just, once you get your plant home, you're going to look at, if you've already done your research and you know what you've got a snake plant or Sansevieria, and you want it in your office where it's kind of dark, you're good to go. But something like the Calathea, I had to research, what is it like? That happens to like indirect light and humidity. So I had to adjust for those conditions. And then throughout the year, things change. So the plants that are in my south-facing windows in the summer, they don't get direct sun because the sun is so high. But then now this time of year, the sun is coming in at an angle, they're getting direct sun. So I move it back away from the window just a little bit. So just keep an eye on the conditions, and as they change throughout the season. I wanted to touch just on fertilizing too. We fertilize from April through August. That's the most general rule that you can have about fertilizing. And I wouldn't be afraid to fertilize once you get a new plant home. You don't know how long it's been in that garden center. This little syngonium has the little slow release balls of fertilizer in there. That could have been from a year ago or 6 months ago. So it could have been a long time since it's had a dose of fertilizer. So that will get it off to a good start if you're within that time frame of fertilizing. I wouldn't fertilize outside of those times. Let your plants rest over the winter. They kind of go there's a dormancy period even for interior plants. They pay attention to what's happening, with the sun, shorter days. They're not in the active growth pattern during those fall and winter months. So let them rest and hang out, and spring comes, you can get started on your fertilizer once again. I think that's everything for today. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, or if you have any ideas or suggestions or things you'd like to learn more about, please let us know. Thank you so much for watching our video, and have a great day.